What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be playing some Marshall D Teach, and I would never see myself playing this deck actually at locals, but I made a deal with one of our local players before he went to regionals, and I said, hey, if you make day 2, I'll play Teach on camera. And yeah, so he ended up making day 2. He ended up even placing top 8 in the event with Blackbeard, so I had to uphold my side of the deal, and so we're going to be playing some Teach here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have a whole lot of experience with this deck. I've been running it a little bit on Sim, also been watching some various YouTubers and competitive players that are a little bit better at this deck, but man, this deck is not an easy deck to pilot. There's a whole lot of decisions that you have to make every single turn. So I have a whole lot of respect for the players that do really well with this, so a whole lot of respect for Ethan for taking this all the way to top 8 at the regionals. And if you want to catch out that video, I have a link to it in the description where we get to go over his deck tech as well as some of his like tips and tricks and his matchups on that day. So if that's interesting to you, definitely check that out. But playing against Buggy here today, and I'm not really sure how to take this matchup. I honestly kind of think Buggy's favored because especially if they run Gravity Blades. And also the fact that they could just play out a big 10-drop Buggy pretty early in the game, especially if you're continuing to use Teach's leader ability to stop on plays. So that's the 12k that could potentially stick around here. And yeah, so that's a double 5k coming at me here off the Galdino, and the Buggy just trying to pressure me. I'm going to counter out of both of those. We played a few searchers at the beginning of the game, ended up spilling a whole bunch of things we would have loved to see out of life into our yard. One of those is I bid 500 million. Fantastic trigger. Other than that, not a very useful card. So very sad to see that at least 2 of those come off the top of my deck. That means I have 2 less in life, but definitely hoping to hit some triggers here. We are playing what people dub as the Casino Teach, right? So 4 of the I bid 500 millions just literally just triggered to KO a 6 or less, KO or bounce a 6 or less off of a trigger, which is pretty nice. But we're gonna play a Burgess here. One thing I have to kind of be cognizant of once Buggy gets a little bit up there is the good old Gravity Blade. I did turn off Buggy's effects. I'm gonna be pretty much turning off Buggy's Buggy's on plays majority of this game, just because he has so many ways to play multiple bodies at once. And that is pretty bad for me. I don't want him flooding the board pretty quickly. But there's also like the other side of that. So it's a double-edged sword turning off on plays for Buggy, because number one, you get to remove his like ability to put multiple characters into play, but also now he can just put a 12-drop into play, a 12k power into play, which is pretty gross. We do finally find the stage here. We wanted to use those events early in the game to find the stage. Having stages with Teach is like a cheat code for this deck. Allows you to see so many cards here, and yeah, so now that we've seen it, we can start cycling pretty nicely here. We do have a Kuzan in hand. Kuzan, such a spectacular card in this deck. So good. I don't know why they gave Blackbeard such a good card. It's so good in this deck. Just the ability to like pitch something off leader ability or off stage and then just put it right back into play. Pretty solid here. But we swing a big 7k. Gonna get some counter out of him, and then gonna just activate a leader ability. And I decided to leave the Kuzan on the field. That's because Kuzan cannot be removed from the field. So no bouncing, no bottom decking, no nothing from effects. So I know this Kuzan's gonna be sticking around, and I know that Buggy's going up on the 7th turn. So like I'm kind of baiting him to go for a Gravity Blade here, but he decides not to take it. Instead, he does another thing I don't want him to do, which just plays out a 12k body. That Buggy's going to be pretty annoying, and Teach not a lot of great ways to get rid of 10 costs, so that's going to be sticking on the board for the rest of this game. So I really hope to not see another one here. We're going to see a 7k go into the Burgess here, and now Burgess bumping himself up to an 8k, going to be able to just not be touched by that. And I spoke too soon. I did have another I bid 500 million in the life here. So that's pretty nice to trigger that off to clean up that croc so it doesn't keep pinging me for 7k. We're going to go back to my turn. I am on the even curve, so we've got a bit of Don to work with here. Nice little 8 ski. And we're going to start with pitching the finger pistol. We ended up not needing this turn. And so we're going to look top 4, and we see a teach. We also see a black hole. There's something that happens later in this game that we're just going to tuck that to the bottom for now. And we're going to know. There's going to be something that happens later in this game that definitely keys me into it. But I end up picking up the teach. I believe I need at least 2 to 3 teaches at the end of this game. I know Buggy ends up throwing up a lot of blockers, and as well as a way for me to stop these big 12k buggies from swinging is also pretty nice. We're going to swing just 9k and then a 7k here. Just trying to whittle down as much as Buggy's life as possible. Get with 2k, 1k. And then I think we might just end up swinging a big 10k here. We're going to start with an activation of good old teach here, or of the Kuzan. Gonna put into play the only great target here, which is Ishiryu. Would have loved to see something even better to come out. I do have a Van Augur, which I might just slam down here just to get another body on board. I could also just swing 10k and end up keeping that card in my hand as counter, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. There's a little bit of fear in me that the opponent's just going to swing into the Burgess, which I can't counter out of anyways. But we're going to end up using that 1k counter to activate teach ability. So I do have a little marker that's on my leader. It's the mayor from Windmill Village, so Luffy's birth village. He looks very grumpy, but I figured he was a nice little card, a nice little token to denote leader effect. So anytime you see that jump on the card, Buggy does not have on plays. I'm going to be doing that pretty often. So I have a teach set up for next turn. And there's a gravity blade there to clean up both of my bodies. I expected at least the Buggy to swing into the Burgess here. Burgess only being what an 8k here. You know, pretty well just means he's dead to the Buggy. But losing both of those threats instead, pretty annoying, because I was hoping to use the Shuryu to just swing to double ping for 5ks on this next turn, but instead we lose both targets here. And another bad thing about bottom decking is I don't get a Kuzan target out of the Burgess here. So that Burgess gone forever. Would love to have seen maybe another Burgess at this point before we get to the Tendon turn, because at this point, once you get to the Tendon turn, you're kind of pedal to the metal on playing Blackbeard's back to back to back. So we end up seeing a Liberation of Life. Its trigger like negates abilities, not something very useful here. We do find another Kuzan. We do have a Burgess that I think we also hit out of life here. Not a whole lot of counter in hand right now. We're likely going to use the Liberation to try to cycle off the stage to find maybe a 2k here. Typically that's the target I'm looking for here late in the game. See another black hole. Man, super relevant. It's super funny watching this footage back. I keep pointing out black holes. There's gonna be a reason. We just gotta get to the end of this video, and you'll know. But we're gonna start with a 5k swing. Just gonna get a counter out here. We're gonna play the big old teach down. Gonna lock down the 12k Buggy, and we're gonna make sure before we pass we pitch a card to add leader ability, because one of the other things that's pretty double-edged sword is you know, they could play a 12k Buggy, but they could also just play the Buggy as a red rock to bottom deck the teach if I don't disable on plays. So gotta keep doing that every turn, because just incidentally them having 4 copies of either 12k body or a red rock is pretty gross. So I have to always be cognizant of that. I literally played Buggy for the channel last week. I've been playing Buggy a lot, so I kind of know what to expect going into this matchup, which is pretty nice, especially as like playing teach, right? Playing Blackbeard, you really have to have a good understanding of what each deck is doing, right? So that way you kind of know when to use your leader ability, and what cards to search for and things like that. And especially against Buggy, I just have to be using it every single turn. But you obviously have to adapt as you go. And there is another 12k Buggy that's just going to come right into play, because I stopped on plays. If I didn't stop on plays, my teach would have been gone. So either way, not looking good for me here. We find another teach, which is pretty nice here. I think we're just going to keep going teach into teach. But with the other 12k Buggy on the board, things are looking a lot scarier for me, because I won't be able to just continue to lock down one. And I really have to start potentially looking for an ability to go for a game at some point, because I really need to whittle down Buggy. He's building a bit of a wall of 12k bodies. He only has 1 card in hand, but that Mihawk blocker, pretty annoying right now. Would have loved finding like not even all of Blackbeard's removal Doesn't even, you know, touches 5k or less, 5 cost or less. Not a whole lot of cost reduction. I did have a Van Auger go to the yard, but other than that, we're gonna use the good old stage to find a 2k. I end up pitching the Teach here. I don't know if that was the play. I think instead I probably should have pitched the Kuzan here, or likely should have pitched. I think in my mind here, I'm gonna have to do leader ability every turn, right? So I have to always discard an additional card. We're just gonna play Teach down and lock down the other Buggy, and my whole thought process was I can Kuzan into that blocker, so I'm gonna pitch that blocker to leader effect. Am I gonna pitch the Kuzan? All right, we're just gonna pitch the Kuzan. Probably would have been better to pitch the blocker, but I think at this point, I kind of wanted to keep a 1k in hand, 1k, 2k, to potentially save the Teach if my opponent just goes like a raw 12k into it. But that's likely not gonna happen here. I know that the Teach is probably gonna bite the dust, but my opponent is down to 1 life now, which is pretty solid. Only 3 cards in hand at this current point in time. We'll see what my opponent ends up doing here, but this is pretty tough. So I think we're starting to set up the situation where there's a very sticky blocker in the middle of my opponent's board, and a blocker that I don't really have a good way to take care of with most of my effects. But we're gonna see a 15k swing into the Teach here, respecting a 2k 1k out of hand. I'm just gonna let it go here, as it's not worth trying to protect. A whole lot of Don left. We got 7 Don left for my opponent's side, so could just do like another big swing here, like just a 12k with Buggy, kind of checking me for a 1k in hand, or just causing me to go down to 0. I definitely don't want to go down to 0 here, but hey, Buggy knows what's up. He's gonna go ahead and swing 12k lead, so I have to block 1k with this, which means I'm either gonna lose my Devon or I'm gonna lose my 2k, and I think I'm gonna opt to use the 2k here, because I think, especially with pitching the Teach earlier, I don't have a blocker to play on this next turn, so I do need to keep the Devon up. And yeah, we're just gonna pass back to me. So here, with only 3 cards in hand, I am staring at death's door at this point, and we need a miracle at this point, because this is gonna be tough. So we're digging. We're gonna pitch the good old Stronger. Gonna look to top 3. Gonna grab a My Era Begins. So the digging continues. We're gonna dig another 3 top 3. So far I've seen 6 cards. We find a Lafitte off that. I think we're gonna pick that one up as well, because we're looking for a very specific card in general. And this is that point in the video where I said, hey, you know what, I keep bottom decking black holes. Yeah, we're looking for a black hole, because in my mind, this is my only way to lethal right now, is I black hole, negate the effect of the Mihawk blocker, and then do like a 9k 12k swing or something and try to go for game. So we're gonna use Lafitte. Look at the top 5, 1 2 3 4 5, to not find a black hole. And it's funny, hindsight 2020, now that I'm watching this video, I bottom decked 2 black holes off of searches, so very unlikely that I was gonna find a black hole here. I run at least 3 in the deck, and you can look, the 3rd one is actually in my yard. So yeah, there was no way, if I had better awareness of what I was bottom decking, and that's why I say this deck is so hard, right? And if at any of those junctions I just took a black hole and kept it in my hand this whole time, we could have easily gone for lethal here. But instead, now we have to go 7k, we have to play out a Katarina Devon, and we just have to pass. I can't even use leader ability right now because I only have 1 card in hand, and going to 0 is a death sentence for me against my opponent's gigantic board here. And yeah, this is not looking good for me at all. Would have loved to find a black hole, some kind of negation to stop the stop the Mihawk. I think black hole was my best out, right? If I could have found that, at least with like 3 to 4 Dawn up, I could have swung 9k 12k. But we're gonna see a Buggy come down. Buggy coming down, sticking on the board because of on play, because he's got 5 other or actually Buggy shouldn't have sticked on the board. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I think we got too excited because the game's over anyways, right? He bottomed my Teach. He's got a 12k, he's got 5 Dawn up, he's got a leader swing, he's got a Mihawk swing. I have 1 blocker, 1 life, 1 card in hand. So this game's absolutely over. That Buggy definitely shouldn't have stuck around on board, but honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. And Buggy's gonna clean it up pretty nicely here with a 12k Buggy at face. And yeah, I bottom decked all my hopes and dreams. Yeah. Blackbeard in a nutshell. Anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.